save an additional 50%.
The North Peninsula's news. The North Peninsula's talk. Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles, Sequim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. President Biden says he has plenty to do in his final months in office, and he'll outline some of his priorities on the road today.
President Biden travels to Texas today for 2 stops. First, the LBJ Presidential Library in Austin, where he'll mark the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act. This is his first major event outside the White House since he announced he was ending his re-election campaign. There, he'll outline what he calls his plan to reform the Supreme Court and ensure no president is above the law. This event was postponed in the wake of the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. This evening, the president travels to Houston to pay his respects to the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Mr. Trump has agreed to an FBI interview as part of its investigation into the attempt on his life, and it comes as members of the local SWAT team in Butler County, Pennsylvania, tell ABC News they believe the incident could have been prevented.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
SWAT team member Jason Woods. The Pentagon has announced another $1.7 billion of military aid for Ukraine. 2 children are among the dead after a stabbing attack near Liverpool, England.
The victims were attending a Taylor Swift dance workshop. 6 people are in critical condition. Tragically, 2 children have died. They believe 2 of the adults were injured trying to protect some of the children. Now, we understand 11 people were treated for stab wounds. The children were taken to a nearby children's hospital.
ABC's Lama Hassan in London, a 17-year-old suspect, is under arrest. The U.S. men's gymnasts won bronze in the team competition. It was the first medal for the program since 2008. You're listening to ABC News.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
First, it was the trains. Now vandals are targeting France's communication systems during the Paris Olympic Games.
According to the French government, multiple telecommunications links have been hit, affecting fiber and fixed and mobile phone lines around the country. A police official says at least a half dozen of France's administrative departments have been affected, including the region around the Mediterranean city of Marseille, hosting Olympic soccer and sailing competitions. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Mourners are paying their last respects at Houston City Hall Rotunda to Texas Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, who died of pancreatic cancer earlier this month at the age of 73. Vice President Kamala Harris will attend the funeral on Thursday. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has been declared the winner of a 3rd term in a controversial election.
It's hard for independent witnesses to verify the election. And essentially what you've got is a 2-stage count. You've got the digital vote and then you've got the paper vote. And it's those paper tallies which are generally taken by the opposition, by others, to verify the digital count. And those irregularities, in a lot of cases, those paper results were not released to the opposition. From the papers that they did manage to glean, they said they had 70% of the vote, which is why the de facto leader of the opposition said that the result was impossible.
That's ABC's Ian Peddle. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Summer congestion got you down. Whether it's allergies or a summer cold, being congested can ruin your whole day. You feel tired and run down, like you're missing out on summer fun. At Navage, we're here to make breathing easy, easier. Navage uses patented gentle suction technology to help clear out allergens, dust, and mucus without drugs. In just 30 seconds, you'll be on your way to a better day. Get Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, Sam's Club, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or online at Navage.com. Navage. Breathe better, fast.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, July 29th. We begin with a look back at the past few days and Sandy Keys' weekend wrap-up.
Reminiscent of a week ago, we might be getting along better in the sandbox if the past weekend can be an indication of the next few weekends. Only 6 persons claim to have been victims of harassment. That number often has approached 10 per weekend. And with actual threats, just 1. Even domestic violence calmed down to a single report from South C Street. Only assaults maintained a familiar number, 1 at West 18th, 1 at Boulevard in South Washington. The last known assault at Zaccardo Road, east of Squim, 5 o'clock in the morning Saturday. In addition, there was an arrest for a drug violation, 11:27 Friday morning on West 11th. Abandoned vehicles continue to be picked up, 2 Friday morning in Squim and another Friday night on West 10th, Port Angeles, presenting some possible storage and legal problems for authorities, not to mention dealing with the sometimes exotic and odoriferous materials found crammed inside the car. Suicide attempts or threats were dealt with by authorities in Squim at midnight Friday and Port Angeles late Saturday night. Additionally, police handled 13 building checks clustered in the hours around midnight, the majority in East and West Port Angeles, and almost as many inside Squim city limits. And they were able to work in 18 welfare checks. Not so many traffic stops over the weekend, just 22, but police were a little preoccupied with traffic accident investigations. They had 18 to process. Local auto body repair shops already are swamped. As of late this spring, customers were faced with repairs sometimes delayed for months. Well, avoid all that and help save your own mental health and that of your friendly auto body repair tech. Drive with extra care and caution for a change. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific, Local News.
For some people, their cars are their most prized possessions. Show you care with a gift certificate for high-quality Shell gas and car washes from First Race Car Wash. Gift certificates start at $5 and are great as a thank you, a congratulations, and fit great in birthday cards too. First Race Car Wash on the corner of First and Race, Port Angeles. You're a winner every time when you've got that First Race shine.
Hi, my name's Adam Birnbaum, and I'm running for state representative in the 24th Legislative District. Too many people in our community are struggling. We need less ideological extremism and more bipartisanship. My campaign is about working with everyone to build affordable housing, create well-paying jobs, and improve our healthcare system. Our district deserves a candidate who will focus on common-sense solutions to the most important issues in our community. Learn more at electadambirnbaum.com.
Paid for by Elect Adam Birnbaum, Democrat.
With so much financial uncertainty, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Anthony Sanders. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for the future. After all, retirement isn't the end of the road, it's a new beginning. Call us at 360-452-0550. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
In other news, Stehekin, the boat-in-only resort town at the head of Lake Chelan, issued an urgent evacuation notice yesterday as wildfires approached the scenic area. The Level 3 Get Out Now order, given at 8 a.m., covered the area from Stehekin Landing to the High Bridge Campground due to the advancing Pioneer Fire. Authorities sent an email alert, and Chelan County Sheriff's deputies went door-to-door to inform the town's estimated 80 residents. Emergency Management Sergeant Jason Renfield said that visitors had already been evacuated under a Level 2 notice on Thursday. Reinfeldt noted this was the first time Stehekin faced such a Level 3 evacuation. Despite the notice, he anticipated most residents would choose to stay in their homes there. A man was killed in a shooting in South Seattle yesterday morning. Homicide investigators examining the incident. They arrived about 4:30 in the morning, finding a man with a gunshot wound to the chest. Despite life-saving efforts by first responders, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Dr. Michael Kopes, a prominent figure in Pacific Northwest emergency medicine, passed away on Friday. Announcement made by the University of Washington. Dr. Kopes led emergency services at Harborview Medical Center for several decades and founded Airlift Northwest in 1982, which has transported some 100,000 patients to critical care facilities. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell highlighted Dr. Kopes' transformative impact on emergency medical care, noting his pivotal role in developing Medic One in Seattle, a collaboration between the Seattle Fire Department and medical providers that has become a national model. A recent meeting on sustainable fishing in Seattle meant to inspire greater protections for Washington State's waters in Olympia. Eric Tegedoff has more on that.
The State Innovation Exchange held the Sustainable Aquaculture and Working Waterfronts Convention with lawmakers from 13 states. Emma Newton with the State Innovation Exchange says big corporations dominate agriculture and farming, but large-scale industrial fish farming isn't in the United States yet.
However, we are seeing increased interest in putting these large-scale, essentially factory farms of the ocean in our waters. And they're a direct threat to our ocean ecosystems, our local fishers, and the native fish populations.
Newton says the convention focused on how policymakers can protect sustainable and local fishing economies and tribal food sovereignty. Democratic Representative Mia Gregerson of SeaTac attended the convention and says the state banned some fish farming practices after tens of thousands of non-native Atlantic salmon escaped a fish pen in 2017. Gregerson says the state needs to go further to protect the region from industrial fish farming.
We're only able to control the policy for about 3 miles off the shore. And so it's going to be really important then, right, to make sure that we have a state coastal zone management plan that prohibits the same type of farming beyond just state waters.
Newton says events like the one in Seattle are important because policymakers are able to connect with communities and the people working on these issues, making them more effective in their decision-making.
They're able to know that they don't have to go to the large corporations or the lobbyists for the information they need. They can go directly to the community. They're building relationships that circumnavigate the traditional way that policy is being made.
For Washington News Service, I'm Eric Tegedoff.
Rising temperatures and operational delays contributing to increased incidents of customer abuse towards Washington State ferry workers. The state ferry system reporting a spike in verbal and behavioral abuse from passengers, highlighted last week when authorities had to handle an irate passenger on the Bainbridge route. The incident followed an apology from WSF leadership to ferry workers, acknowledging the growing abuse as tensions on Puget Sound routes rise. Officials attribute the anger to staffing, struggles, and passenger misunderstandings. Despite increasing passenger numbers, the ferry fleet and routes have not expanded. That's exacerbating the problem. The state is facing a significant shortage of ferries, and new vessels will not be available for almost a decade. This is Newsradio KONP.
Losing a loved one is overwhelming. Your mind and your heart shut down. That's where Drennan & Ford Funeral Home and Crematory comes in. They took the burden off my family's shoulders and guided us through everything we needed to do. No pushy sales tactics or unanswered questions. They just held our hands and took care of everything we asked. That's why I will always recommend Drennan & Ford for end-of-life decisions. They handle the hurt like no one else can. Call 360-457-1210.
Hi, I'm Kevin Vanderweg, your state senator and now a candidate for State Lands Commissioner. As a 25-year firefighter and chair of the Senate Natural Resources Committee, I know how destructive wildfires and wildfire smoke are to rural communities. I'm ready to lead the fight for better prevention and faster, more effective responses. We can't let wildfire get further out of control. I'd be honored to earn your vote.
Paid for by Kevin Vanderweg for State Lands Commissioner, Democrat.
In 1983, Tom and Ida McEwen opened All Weather Heating and Cooling. Their vision for a family-owned and operated business with personalized customer service made them the #1 choice for all your heating and cooling needs. By 2014, it was time to pass down the business, and daughter Janae and her business partner Dustin Halverson purchased All Weather. In preserving Tom and Ida's vision, customer service is still their #1 priority. All-weather heating and cooling, because everyone calls us.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Cloudy this afternoon with a chance for isolated showers. High of 64, northwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Chance for showers, lows dip down to about 55. Slight chance of rain showers tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 63, overcast skies. Partly cloudy Wednesday with a high of 68, 72 Thursday. A peek at the extended shows, 78 Friday, 75 Saturday, and 74 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 63 degrees.
Dominating, off the bench no less. I'm Jay Reynolds. U.S. men's basketball team with a key win in Paris Sunday. 26-point win over Serbia. Kevin Durant coming off the bench for 23 points in 17 minutes. Even hit his first 8 shots, 5 of them three-pointers, and it helped with the nerves for Team USA.
LeBron James and Steph Curry admitted after the game that they were nervous. The 27,000-seat venue, huge stadium, huge expectations on this team. They had butterflies.
ESPN's Brian Windhorst, Durant with a major boost, calming everybody down. Jason Tatum didn't even play in the win. U.S. women's soccer beats Germany, securing a spot in the quarterfinals. Baseball, trade deadline tomorrow. Meanwhile, Jazz Chisholm, who the Yankees acquired this weekend, gets his first hit with New York, and it comes in their Sunday night baseball win 8-2 at Fenway over the Red Sox. Yankees trail the Orioles by a game. Baltimore beat the Padres 8-6. Top 2 teams in baseball. Cleveland rallies for a 4-3 win over the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber with 2 homers in the loss. Speaking of homers, Cardinals-Nationals.
Goldschmidt swings and it's a drive. That goes deep to left field. It's a gunner and a Redbird winner. Paul Goldschmidt walks it off for the Cardinals.
Cardinals Radio Network. Brewers beat the Marlins 6-2. Milwaukee, the 3rd team in the National League to 60 wins. Pirates score 4 in the 10th and then hold off the Diamondbacks for a 6-5 win. Braves a 9-2 win over the Mets. Pete Alonso with home run number 21 in the loss. Houston falls to the Dodgers 6-2. River Ryan gets the first win of his career for L.A. Twins, a 1-hitter against the Tigers. Bailey Ober goes 8 innings with 11 strikeouts. Brewers beat the Marlins 6-2. Xavier Edwards hits for the cycle in the loss. Rays edge the Reds 2-1 in the loss. Ellie De La Cruz goes 3 for 4 with 4 stolen bases. He now has 55 stolen bases on the season.
More on the Mariners now.
Mariners lead 6-3. Pitch on the way. Swing and a fly ball into shallow left field. Randy Arozarena coming in. He's there and he makes the catch. The Mariners win it 6-3 and they sweep aside the Sox in the 3-game series. What a start to the road trip.
How sweep it is. Cal Raleigh hit a 2-run homer. Bryce Miller pitched 6 in the 3rd innings. The Seattle Mariners completed the 3-game sweep of the White Sox over the weekend with a 6-3 win yesterday to extend Chicago's losing streak to 14 games. The trip to Chicago came at a good time for the Mariners, who had lost 8 of 9 before beginning the series. The Mariners outscored the White Sox 22-6 over those 3 games. They also got a little help from the Los Angeles Dodgers as they beat the Houston Astros yesterday, and now the Mariners and Astros are tied atop the AL West again. Now, it doesn't get easy, though, for Seattle. They move on to Boston to take on the Red Sox. We'll be on the air with that game, 3 o'clock here on KONP. Ty France, who was designated for assignment by the Mariners just a week ago, has cleared waivers and now has been traded to the Cincinnati Reds and some other Mariner news. The D.A. Davidson team, led by Husky celebrity Ed Kribbe, won the 13th annual Sunny Six Killer UW Husky Celebrity Golf Classic at Cedars at Dungeness Golf Course Friday. They beat 35 other teams. The Peninsula Bottling team with celebrity Tom Scott finished 2nd, and the OSP Sling team featuring UW celebrity Tim Burnham took 3rd. The event raised $81,000 for the Olympic Medical Center Foundation. Each of the 36 teams included a Husky celebrity recruited by Six Killer, who led the nation in passing for the University of Washington back in 1970. Local stars, including Scott Jones, the only Rough Rider to play in the NFL, and Matt Lane, former Husky starting catcher, also took part.
Bad Boy Mowers' legendary reputation for build strength, performance, and value is now available with Bad Boy tractors. From mid-size to subcompact models, powered by 22 to 35 horsepower water-cooled diesel engines, your tractor work just got real. easy. On the farm, the ranch, or even around the house, Bad Boy Tractors deliver on power and durability all day, every day.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your Bad Boy Tractor dealer in Sequim.
Bad Boy Tractors, work with an attitude.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Up until now, McDonald's had not seen its sales decline since 2020 when the pandemic hit. But now it says sales in the second quarter were down 1% from the same period last year, and it was a broad-based retreat in every geographical region. The chain's CFO says consumers are pulling back on fast food, and he does not expect a change in that for the next few quarters. More and more commercial properties are in default, with bankers and lenders taking control. High interest rates and the failure of workers to return to the office are key reasons. The Wall Street Journal says the seizures are happening at the highest rate in nearly a decade and could signal that the downturn is reaching the bottom. In the second quarter, data provider MSCI says portfolios of foreclosed or seized properties reached $20.5 billion, up 13% from the first quarter. Stocks are wavering today. The Dow is down a fraction. The Nasdaq is up a fraction. The S&P is up a tenth. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a check on the roads next. Brought to you by Angela's Furniture and by The Blind Store by McCrory.
If you're an Angela's Furniture customer, you'll never be taken for granted. At Angela's Furniture, you're the top priority.
We really appreciate our customers. We try to treat everybody with the utmost respect. We go the extra mile to try to take care of them when they buy something from us, and even when they don't buy something from us. You know, we look at it as a long-term relationship, not a one-transaction relationship.
For fine furniture and the treatment you deserve, shop Angela's Furniture on East 1st Street, Port Angeles.
Ever looked at your window coverings and thought, ugh, might I suggest new window treatments from the Blind Store in Sequim? I know. It doesn't sound like it would make that much of a difference, but do me a favor. Take a good look at what you have now. See the dust, the age, that one janky cord that doesn't actually open or close anymore? Well, McCrory's Blind Store in Sequim can make that better. With more options than you knew existed, the Blind Store will pair you with the perfect window coverings, all at 20% off. The Blind Store by McCrory, next to the licensing depot in Sequim.
Newsradio KONP, traffic and roads.
Out to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go now. That's where Steve's standing by with an eye on the roads this noon hour for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're doing okay out there overall. If you're out and about, the traffic, pretty steady traffic right now through both Port Angeles and Sequim. A little slow going in some places. So just be careful as you make your way through town. Laurel and Front Street, that's been a little bit of an issue. The city's down that direction working with our new stoplights, so be very careful in that area. A little slow going through there. If you're on the highway between the two cities, no real problems out there. Traffic is busy, but at the speed limit. Beyond that, Hood Canal Bridge is good to go with no scheduled marine openings. However, ferry system running behind, so just plan ahead if you're going to be heading across the water. Be sure to check their website to see when the ferries are actually going to be at dock. If you're headed out to the west end, 101, we're in good shape all the way out to the Forks area. A little work on the Elwha Hill going down to our new bridge, but not much of an issue. Just be careful. It should be a nice drive out there. Just some wet, slick roads out there at a few spots, so just be careful on your drive. So this is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thanks, Steve. We got a call from one of our listeners who found a cell phone yesterday at the corner of 5th and B Streets in Port Angeles. If you know of somebody or if it's your cell phone, perhaps you lost over in that part of Port Angeles, here's the number. Call 310-892-2119, 310-892-2119, or give us a call here at the station. We'll put you in touch with Bill, who will have you identify that cell phone if it might be yours. Again, that was found at 5th and B Streets yesterday in PA.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Over the past 2 decades, suicide rates have increased across the board.
But according to a new study out of Washington University, for one surprising population in particular, the rate has more than doubled. I'm talking about college athletes. There is pressure to perform both academically and athletically and balance the responsibilities of each, and that can lead to anxiety and depression. Their schedules can leave less time for social connection, resulting in feelings of isolation. And don't forget the very real physical and mental impacts of injury, like losing a scholarship. Bottom line, whether you're a student athlete, a coach, a professor, a parent, or a friend, be on the lookout for warning signs of suicide. And know that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is staffed 24/7 if you ever need help. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Less is more? No, more is more. That's why Taco Bell's new $7 Luxe Cravings box is stacked with all your cheesy, crunchy favorites. Think a beefy 5-layer burrito, a double-stacked taco, a Chalupa Supreme, chips and nacho cheese sauce, and a drink for just $7. Live Luxe for less at Taco Bell and sign up for rewards to earn free food. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Points earned on qualifying purchases.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. Have you noticed there's always somebody willing to tell us which way America should go? But who's right? I'll tell you that story after this important message.
If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number one, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now. And our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you.
As we search to find our way as a nation, just where should we get our direction? We should learn from the past. It was Spanish philosopher George Santayana who said, "Those who cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it." And as we seek God's wisdom and direction, what does he say? The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 says, "Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths and where the good way is, and walk in it. You will find rest for your souls." Which way, America? Our parents and grandparents knew the way, but will we learn before it's too late? I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. A Level 3 evacuation order is in place for the town of Stehekin. The order applies to the area from just north of Moore Point through the Stehekin Valley, including the Stehekin Landing and West High Bridge. A movement in the Pioneer Fire occurred over the weekend. This prompted an elevated evacuation announcement that went into effect the following morning. Chelan County Emergency Management Sergeant Jason Reinfeld says that people were notified on an individual basis.
We sent some deputies and volunteers from 25 Mile Creek Forest Service stock to go up and start door-to-door evacuations in Stehekin.
As of late yesterday morning, door-to-door evacuations were nearly complete, and Governor Jay Inslee urging cooperation as crews work to stabilize the Pioneer Fire. The governor said he understands why some residents would resist official commands, but he said we should do our part to make the mission easier for firefighters.
When you follow these evacuation orders, you're really helping the firefighters because they can concentrate on the fire line then instead of just individual homeowners.
And a teen was arrested in Kennewick late last week for an outstanding warrant and unlawful firearm possession. Police spotted the 15-year-old around 4 p.m. near the McDonald's on West Kennewick Avenue, where he was seen discarding a loaded handgun into a garbage can. After a brief chase, officers apprehended the teen and booked him into the Juvenile Justice Center while an investigation continues. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The FBI says former President Trump has agreed to be interviewed as part of the investigation into the attempted assassination on him in Pennsylvania earlier this month. Kevin Rojek, special agent in charge, FBI Pittsburgh field office, says the shooter put in a lot of planning.
While the FBI's investigation may not yet have determined a motive, we believe the subject made significant efforts to conceal his activities. Additionally, we believe his actions also show a careful planning ahead of the campaign rally.
The shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, had internet searches that reveal an interest in mass shootings and the attempted assassination this year of Slovakia's prime minister. Also at townhall.com, the United States is cautioning Israel about escalation with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The urging from U.S. officials comes as Israel weighs its response to a weekend rocket attack from Lebanon that killed 12 young people in Israel.
We absolutely condemn this weekend's horrific attack.
White House National Security spokesman John Kirby says the attack was conducted by Lebanese Hezbollah.
Despite their denials, it's their rocket. It's launched from an area that they control.
He says the U.S. backs Israel's security and continues to support efforts to reach a diplomatic solution. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Concerns about the water quality in the Seine River led officials to call off the swimming portion of an Olympic triathlon training session for a second straight day. Organizers overseeing the event at the Paris Games are optimistic the triathletes will be able to swim in the city's famed waterway when the competition does start on Tuesday. Stocks are mixed, the Dow dropping 2 points, but the NASDAQ is up 25. More at townhall.com.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty-free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has won a highly controversial presidential election.
Fireworks echoed around Caracas after the first results of the election were announced, with President Maduro joining a crowd of supporters to celebrate.
Soy Nicolás Maduro Moro.
I am Nicolas Maduro Moros,
the re-elected president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
This result, however, is disputed by the opposition. They said some of their election observers were removed or barred from some counts, and they had access to only 30% of the printed receipts from the country's electronic voting machines.
BBC correspondent Ione Wells. One person died, some 200,000 households without electricity in Lithuania and neighboring Latvia as strong winds and heavy rain pounded the two Baltic nations overnight. The southern part of Estonia was also hit by storms but avoided major damage. Breaking news at townhall.com.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, July 29th. We begin with a look back at the past few days and Sandy Keys' weekend wrap-up.
Reminiscent of a week ago, we might be getting along better in the sandbox if the past weekend can be an indication of the next few weekends. Only 6 persons claim to have been victims of harassment. That number often has approached 10 per weekend. And with actual threats, just 1. Even domestic violence calmed down to a single report from South C Street. Only assaults maintained a familiar number, 1 at West 18th, 1 at Boulevard in South Washington. The last known assault at Zaccardo Road, east of Squim, 5 o'clock in the morning Saturday. In addition, there was an arrest for a drug violation, 11:27 Friday morning on West 11th. Abandoned vehicles continue to be picked up, 2 Friday morning in Squim and another Friday night on West 10th, Port Angeles, presenting some possible storage and legal problems for authorities, not to mention dealing with the sometimes exotic and odoriferous materials found crammed inside the car. Suicide attempts or threats were dealt with by authorities in Squim at midnight Friday and Port Angeles late Saturday night. Additionally, police handled 13 building checks clustered in the hours around midnight, the majority in East and West Port Angeles, and almost as many inside Squim city limits. And they were able to work in 18 welfare checks. Not so many traffic stops over the weekend, just 22, but police were a little preoccupied with traffic accident investigations. They had 18 to process. Local auto body repair shops already are swamped. As of late this spring, customers were faced with repairs sometimes delayed for months. Well, avoid all that and help save your own mental health and that of your friendly auto body repair tech. Drive with extra care and caution for a change. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific, Local News.
In other news, Stehekin, the boat-in-only resort town at the head of Lake Chelan, issued an urgent evacuation notice yesterday as wildfires approached the scenic area. The Level 3 Get Out Now order, given at 8 a.m., covered the area from Stehekin Landing to the High Bridge Campground due to the advancing Pioneer Fire. Authorities sent an email alert, and Chelan County Sheriff's deputies went door-to-door to inform the town's estimated 80 residents. Emergency Management Sergeant Jason Renfield said that visitors had already been evacuated under a Level 2 notice on Thursday. Renfield noted this was the first time Stehekin faced such a Level 3 evacuation. Despite the notice, he anticipated most residents would choose to stay in their homes there. A man was killed in a shooting in South Seattle yesterday morning. Homicide investigators examining the incident. They arrived about 4:30 in the morning, finding a man with a gunshot wound to the chest. Despite life-saving efforts by first responders, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Dr. Michael Kopes, a prominent figure in Pacific Northwest emergency medicine, passed away on Friday. Announcement made by the University of Washington. Dr. Kopes led emergency services at Harborview Medical Center for several decades and founded Airlift Northwest in 1982, which has transported some 100,000 patients to critical care facilities. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell highlighted Dr. Kopes' transformative impact on emergency medical care, noting his pivotal role in developing Medic One in Seattle, a collaboration between the Seattle Fire Department and medical providers that has become a national model. A recent meeting on sustainable fishing in Seattle meant to inspire greater protections for Washington State's waters in Olympia. Eric Tegedoff has more on that.
The State Innovation Exchange held the Sustainable Aquaculture and Working Waterfronts Convention with lawmakers from 13 states. Emma Newton with the State Innovation Exchange says big corporations dominate agriculture and farming, but large-scale industrial fish farming isn't in the United States yet.
However, we are seeing increased interest in putting these large-scale, essentially factory farms of the ocean in our waters. And they're a direct threat to our ocean ecosystems, our local fishers, and the native fish populations.
Newton says the convention focused on how policymakers can protect sustainable and local fishing economies and tribal food sovereignty. Democratic Representative Mia Gregerson of SeaTac attended the convention and says the state banned some fish farming practices after tens of thousands of non-native Atlantic salmon escaped a fish pen in 2017. Gregerson says the state needs to go further to protect the region from industrial fish farming.
We're only able to control the policy for about 3 miles off the shore. And so it's going to be really important then, right, to make sure that we have a state coastal zone management plan that prohibits the same type of farming beyond just state waters.
Newton says events like the one in Seattle are important because policymakers are able to connect with communities and the people working on these issues, making them more effective in their decision-making.
They're able to know that they don't have to go to the large corporations or the lobbyists for the information they need. They can go directly to the community. They're building relationships that circumnavigate the traditional way that policy is being made.
For Washington News Service, I'm Eric Tegedoff.
Rising temperatures and operational delays contributing to increased incidents of customer abuse towards Washington state ferry workers. The state ferry system reporting a spike in verbal and behavioral abuse from passengers, highlighted last week when authorities had to handle an irate passenger on the Bainbridge route. The incident followed an apology from WSF leadership to ferry workers, acknowledging the growing abuse as tensions on Puget Sound routes rise. Officials attribute the anger to staffing, struggles, and passenger misunderstandings. Despite increasing passenger numbers, the ferry fleet and routes have not expanded. That's exacerbating the problem. The state is facing a significant shortage of ferries, and new vessels will not be available for almost a decade. This is Newsradio KONP.
Hi, my name's Adam Birnbaum, and I'm running for state representative in the 24th Legislative District. Too many people in our community are struggling. We need less ideological extremism and more bipartisanship. My campaign is about working with everyone to build affordable housing, create well-paying jobs, and improve our healthcare system. Our district deserves a candidate who will focus on common-sense solutions to the most important issues in our community. Learn more at electadambirnbaum.com.
Paid for by Elect Adam Birnbaum, Democrat.
When shopping for building supplies, lumber, home goods, or hardware items, are you traveling to one of those big box stores? When you wander those big box store aisles, how's that customer service? Absent? Possibly lacking in knowledge?
I don't know.
At Angelus Millwork and Hartnaggles, we have 2 convenient Port Angeles locations, and each one is far from the big box store experience.
Yay!
Since our stores are employee-owned, each one of us has a vested interest in how we serve and treat our customers. You won't find us hiding in the back aisle or turning the other way when you make eye contact for help.
They can't see me if I can't see them.
We're excited to share our day with you while making sure we set the bar high for what true customer service is all about. So if you're looking for a hometown building supply store that treats their customers like next-door neighbors, has deep knowledge on building products while continually supporting the local community, then avoid those trips out of town and come see us today. Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply. Building homes, building community since 1906.
Are you a natural-born caregiver? Now's the time to join the Ridgeline team. Ridgeline is a worker-owned home care agency making a huge difference in our community. Empower yourself and provide the best care for aging loved ones. We assist with daily activity for those that need a little help while living in their home. Visit ridgeline.coop for more information and to schedule a visit. Empowered caregivers are exceptional caregivers. Become one today with Ridgeline. Visit us online, ridgeline.coop, ridgeline.coop.
A working mother asked me, Phyllis, why does it matter that we now have you, a woman, as a PUD commissioner? Well, because we are usually the ones making those hard, everyday decisions as we try to cover the food bill and the electric bill. I've been there. I get it. And I've got you.
Paid for by the committee to elect Phyllis Bernard. At Tranco Transmissions, they've learned if you take good care of people, word gets around.
Hi, this is Mitch from Trenco Transmissions. We take pride in taking care of our customers, keeping them on the road and out of the garage.
Everyone knows who the transmission specialists are.
It's a great feeling when we hear our customers sharing their Trenco experiences with their friends.
Trenco Transmissions, first in Eunice, Port Angeles. It's where customers send their friends. Call 457-3388.
All right, on to the weather forecast. Boy, I had a little bit of change, huh? Yeah, clouds and some rain showers. That's going to hang with us through the rest of the day today. Look for your highs in the 60s to lower 70s this afternoon. Cloudy tonight, chance of rain in the evening, another slight chance of rain late. Look for your lows to be in the 50s. And then cloudy for Tuesday, too, with some patchy fog in the morning and a slight chance of rain in the afternoon Tuesday. Highs will be in the mid-60s to low 70s. Mostly cloudy Tuesday night with some patchy fog forming late. Lows will be in the low to mid-50s. Then we get back to some nicer weather again. Wednesday, partly sunny, highs near 70. Clearing out Wednesday night, lows in the low to mid-50s. Sunny for Thursday, and we get to 70 again. Highs, clear on Thursday night with lows in the upper 50s. And then sunny Friday with highs in the mid-70s to lower 80s. Saturday's looking sunny with a high near 80. And Sunday, sunny with highs again in the mid-70s to low 80s. Currently, lots of clouds, some scattered rain showers continuing across the North Olympic Peninsula. In Port Townsend, at last check, it is 62 degrees. Out west at Forks, they are checking in at 63, at 68 in Sequim, 57 now in downtown Port Angeles, and out at Fairchild Airport, it's now 64.
Hello, I'm Graham Ralston, independent candidate for Congress in Washington's 6th District. I spent 7 years in Washington, D.C. as a senior federal executive. I know what does and doesn't work. I'm a fifth-generation resident of Port Angeles. My top priorities are getting Congress to work, fighting inflation, working on housing, and boosting the local economy. Visit voteralston.com to learn more.
Paid for by Ralston for Congress.
Hello, this is Amanda Huff with Sequim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called Natural Organic Reduction, or simply terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Sequim Valley Chapel in Sequim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Sequim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
You're invited to the 2024 Northwest Herbal Fair, August 16th through the 18th at the Lake Leland Amphitheater near Quilcene. An educational extravaganza in a festive, fun atmosphere. 90 workshops led by 60 expert teachers, beginner as well as advanced classes. The Northwest Herbal Fair has something for everyone. Enjoy a vibrant vendor village with over 50 vendors offering a wide range of herbal products and food. It's the Northwest Herbal Fair, August 16th through 18th. Come camp on site for a weekend experience or day trip with single-day tickets as low as $40. Children and teens get in free. Here's a bonus for early birds. Now through July 31st, receive reduced-cost weekend passes. Visit nwherbalfair.com for tickets. Blending education, food, fun, and music. The Northwest Herbal Fair, August 16th through 18th, is the only large herb gathering in the Pacific Northwest this year. If you are into herbs, you will not want to miss it. Visit nwherbalfair.com. That's nwherbalfair.com.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
You're invited to a walkabout tour of the Woodcock Demonstration Gardens on Woodcock Road in Sequim. Join the Master Gardeners this Thursday at 10 a.m. for this free walkabout garden tour. This month's tour features the fruit trees and small fruits coming into season. The Master Gardeners have added many new varieties in the orchard, including kiwi and figs. Enjoy a tour of the 2.74-acre site and get answers from Master Gardeners, too. It's Thursday, starting at 10 a.m. at the Woodcock Demonstration Gardens on Woodcock Road, Sequim. Also Thursday, don't miss Music on the Straight starting at 7 p.m. It's the Classical Chamber Music Festival's opening night, Thursday, 7 p.m. at Field Hall in Port Angeles.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
With so many choices for deliveries, how convenient is it that you've got an option for the perfect cup of joe, too? Fogtown Coffee in Port Angeles delivers. We offer a no-cost delivery for orders to businesses of $20 or more within city limits. Call 360-504-3509 for delivery or download the Joe Coffee app. Just text coffee to 474747 and order ahead for store pickup. You can even schedule a specific time. Fogtown Coffee on Front Street, your front door coffee delivery headquarters.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Just minutes to go ahead of Wall Street's closing bell, and stocks are on track to end the day mostly higher, not by much. That's ahead of a big week of tech earnings from Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon. Also a decision on interest rates from the Fed on Wednesday and the July jobs report on Friday. Right now, the Dow is flat. The Nasdaq and the S&P each up 0.25%. Among the big gainers today, shares of Tesla up nearly 5%. Morgan Stanley put it on its top picks list of U.S. automakers, replacing Ford. Shares of Ford down 2%. Sales at McDonald's declining last quarter as cash-strapped consumers pulled back on their fast food spending. But those sales were a little better than forecast, so shares of the chain up 4%. And Apple reaching a tentative collective bargaining agreement with unionized workers at an Apple store in Maryland, a first for the tech giant's retail outlets. The 85 workers there, part of the International Association of Machinists, will vote on the proposed deal on August 6th. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Check on the traffic next, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Olympic Medical Center.
Bad Boy tractors are born from the legendary Bad Boy mowers. From 20 to 35 horsepower, subcompact to midsize, Bad Boy combines power, performance, comfort, and as always, build strength to deliver the workhorse dependability you need to get the job done and done right. Homeowner, landscaper, or rancher, there's a Bad Boy tractor for you to work with an attitude.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your Bad Boy tractor dealer in Sequim. Call 360-452-1400 to learn more.
When every second counts, trust the trauma experts at Olympic Medical Center. Accidents happen anytime, day or night. That's why Olympic Medical Center provides 24/7 trauma care every day of the year. Our dedicated trauma team is here around the clock to handle your emergencies with expertise and compassion. Olympic Medical Center, your hometown partner in trauma care. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/trauma care.
Newsradio KONP, Traffic and Roads.
One last time, up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go. That's where Steve's standing by with an eye on the noontime roads and traffic for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're still doing pretty good overall traffic-wise, both Port Angeles and Sequim. Still a fair amount of traffic out there. Moving along pretty close to the speed limit all the way, but we do have some slowdowns out there. We also got some construction down there on Front and Laurel. They're down working with our new stoplight section, so be careful to that area. If you're on the highway between the two cities, no real problems. It is busy, but at the speed limit. Beyond that, Hood Canal Bridge, good to go with no scheduled marine openings. Washington State Ferries, on the other hand, yeah, they are running behind in a lot of places, so pay attention to their website and see how you're doing as you're waiting at the dock for your ferry to come in. If you're headed out to the west end, we're in good shape all the way out to the Forks area. A few scattered rain showers, not too bad out there. A little road work coming down the Elwha Hill to our new bridge, so that is a little bit of a slowdown there. So everybody, other than that, we're in good shape. Everybody take care. Enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thanks, Steve. Stop wasting your money and buy generics like smart kids do. A study out of the University of Chicago found 9 times out of 10 doctors buy generic aspirin over the brand names. And the majority of professional chefs buy generic store-brand sugar and baking powder over their brand name ingredients. The study found Americans waste $44 billion a year on name brands when store brands cost half the price. The average household buys name brand products 26% of the time. By the way, pharmacists buy name brands only 9% of the time. How about that? All right. Elementary school students have some ideas about science. The following ideas about science were collected from essays, exams, and classroom discussions. Most were from 5th and 6th graders. Here you go. You can listen to thunder after lightning and tell how close you came to getting hit. If you don't hear it, you got hit, so never mind. Here's another one. When people run around and around in circles, we say they're crazy. When planets do it, we say they are orbiting. Yeah, good one, right? Most books now say our sun is a star, but it still knows how to change back into a sun in the daytime. And a vibration is a motion that cannot make up its mind which way it wants to go. Oh, yeah, kids say and write the darndest things, right? It is 12:54, and we get a Consumer Tech Minute next from Kim Commando.
When my son was much younger, he and his friends loved an online game called Roblox. It was a safe place for kids. Not anymore. For your kids, Roblox has become a very dangerous place. I'm Kim Commando for Simply Safe. Save 20% on a new Simply Safe system with a Fast Protect plan at simplysafekim.com. Since 2006, Roblox has been a major online game. In 2020, it had more than 35 million people online every day. 78 million use it a few times a week. It's the world's largest recreation zone for kids. But today, to be blunt, Roblox has a pedophile problem. Of these 78 million, 30 million are younger than 13. Pedophiles pretend to be kids and lure innocents through poorly monitored online chats. The owners of Roblox could make it safer. They could police their entire network more carefully, but they don't. So a word to the wise. Very young children should not be on Roblox. Be a strong parent. Just say no. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. When it comes to protecting those who matter most, you need a home security system that you can trust. For years, I've trusted Simply Safe to protect my studios. With advanced security technology and a customer-first approach, Simply Safe is the security system I recommend. Simply Safe is backed by 24/7 professional monitoring, guarding your home with sensors and cameras to protect you and your family. With LiveGuard, agents act within 5 seconds of receiving an alarm and take immediate actions to protect you. They can even see and speak to intruders inside your home, stopping them in their tracks. Simply Safe does not require a long-term contract. They earn your business every day by keeping you safe. Simply Safe has given so many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. Get 20% off any new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
If you're struggling to pay the mortgage, Making Home Affordable is a free government resource that can make it easier. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Artistic expression is not something you should give up on after childhood, especially if you want to take care of your mental health. I'll tell you more after this.
Summer is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive, unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code QUALITY at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
There's a robust body of evidence beginning to show that incorporating artistic activities into your regular routine can have a serious benefit for your mental health. Things like singing, dancing, painting, drawing, really anything can boost your creativity and your mood. These types of activities can also help refine your fine motor skills and offer a different way to practice mindfulness. Data has shown that participating in artistic activities stimulates connections within the brain known as neural plasticity. Making art increases blood flow to the brain, lowers levels of the stress hormone cortisol, and can boost our mood. Crayons, anyone? With Your Body, I'm ABC's Dr. Jennifer Ashton.
Hi, I'm Bill Benedict. I served as Clallam County Sheriff with Randy Johnson as District 2 County Commissioner for 8 years. He is an exceptionally talented community leader who puts the welfare of his constituents first. Randy's solid business and administrative background has brought great benefit to the county, and his fiscal restraint has helped keep the county debt-free. Clallam County needs the proven leadership, accountability, and political independence of Randy Johnson to continue as District 2 County Commissioner. Please join me in re-electing Randy Johnson.
Paid for by the committee to elect Randy Johnson for County Commissioner.
Oh, what a beautiful morning.
Can it, Curly? We love the sun, but not this early. If you want to keep the rays out in the morning, the Blind Store by McCrory has a deal for you. Right now, during their summer sale, you'll save 20% off the best blinds in the industry, like Hunter Douglas, Graber, and Norman. The savings will have you singing a happy tune, but only when you're ready. Shop the Blind Store by McCrory's summer sale going on now in Sequim by the licensing depot.
Online at myclallamcounty.com. Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles, Sequim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. President Biden just arrived in Austin, Texas, where he'll lay out his vision for one of his top priorities, reforming the Supreme Court.
In an op-ed published today in the Washington Post, President Biden is calling for major reforms to the Supreme Court, including 18-year term limits for the justices and a binding code of conduct and ethics rules. He's also pushing for a constitutional amendment to strip presidents of immunity from prosecution. The president writing, quote, "This nation was founded on a simple yet profound principle. No one is above the law." He'll speak on this issue today in remarks at the LBJ Presidential Library in Austin, Texas. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
While he's there, Mr. Biden will also commemorate the anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, and then tonight he travels to Houston to pay respects to the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries have announced who will serve on a new bipartisan task force to investigate the attempted assassination of former President Trump.
The task force will be chaired by Pennsylvania Republican Mike Kelly. Kelly is from Butler and represents the district where the shooting took place. Other Republicans on the panel include Homeland Security Committee Chair Mark Green of Tennessee and former prosecutors and military veterans who now serve in the House. The top Democrat on the task force will be Colorado Congressman and Army vet Jason Crow, who was awarded the Bronze Star during his service in Iraq.
Mr. Trump has also agreed to sit for an interview by the FBI as part of its investigation. 2 children are dead and a number of people are injured after a knife attack at a dance class in northwest England.
At this moment in time, the investigation is not being treated as terrorist-related.
Chief Constable Serena Kennedy says a 17-year-old suspect is under arrest. The Pentagon's confirmed another $1.7 billion in military aid is headed to Ukraine. You're listening to ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
A new study finds a simple blood test was effective in diagnosing Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's is a complex disease to accurately diagnose, but now a potential leap forward, a simple blood test. A new study out of Sweden is showing promising results for detecting cognitive decline that is due to Alzheimer's by measuring for a specific protein in the blood. Now, right now, diagnosis isn't straightforward or simple, which can lead to delays in treatment, but this blood test could change all of that and lead to earlier intervention.
ABC's Eva Pilgrim. The Biden administration is urging restraint as Israel prepares a response to the rocket attack that kills 12 children in the Golan Heights over the weekend.
Israel's security cabinet formally approving a reprisal strike on Hezbollah after it killed 12 children on the Golan Heights in a rocket attack Saturday. But no details were given on the scale or timing of the reprisal, which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows will be significant. Most analysts here believe Netanyahu will limit the strikes to southern Lebanon, avoiding Beirut. That to signal Israel is not interested in war with Hezbollah, nor by extension, Iran. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Congress passed a proposal requiring the federal government to buy only American flags completely manufactured in the U.S. I'm Daria Albinger, ABC News.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Hi, my name's Adam Birnbaum, and I'm running for state representative in the 24th Legislative District. Too many people in our community are struggling. We need less ideological extremism and more bipartisanship. My campaign is about working with everyone to build affordable housing, create well-paying jobs, and improve our healthcare system. Our district deserves a candidate who will focus on common-sense solutions to the most important issues in our community. Learn more at electadambirnbaum.com.
Paid for by Elect Adam Birnbaum, Democrat.
KONP News brought to you by Remax Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. Rising temperatures and operational delays contributing to increased incidents of customer abuse towards state ferry workers, according to the system. WSF has reported a spike in verbal and behavioral abuse from passengers. Officials attribute the anger to staffing struggles and passenger misunderstandings. Despite increasing passenger numbers, the ferry fleet and routes have not expanded. New ferries are not due online for at least another 5 years. And Stehekin at the head of Lake Chelan given an emergency evacuation notice yesterday. The Level 3 Get Out Now order given as the advancing Pioneer Fire moves in on that boat-in-only resort town.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Chance for isolated rain showers this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Highs level off around 64. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Cloudy skies again tonight. Chance for showers. Lows level off around 55. Slight chance of rain showers tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 63. Cloudy skies expected. A mix of clouds and sun Wednesday with highs around 68. 72 Thursday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 78 Friday, 75 Saturday, and 74 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 64 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, lot to cover today on the program. A little later on, we're going to be talking about the Music on the Street Festival, which starts on Thursday. But before we get to that, the first half of the show, we're going to be talking with a couple of my very favorite guests of all time. My two amigos are back now. I guess I have to say that now, right? Don't I? We have Judy English and Jeanette Stair-Green, Master Gardeners here in Clallam County. I haven't had them both in the studio at the same time in quite a while, so it's so good to have you both in today.
And fun to be here.
Yes,
just like
good.
forever.
I'll see they're hugging each other across the way from me. They're just so excited to be here. So we'll spend the first half of the show today talking with them about some stuff related to, imagine that, gardening. I just can't imagine anymore. We're going to get into a little bit about harvesting and maybe thinking fair time in that as well. We've got a few things coming up on their calendar. But first of all, although today you wouldn't think of it as being droughty, but it is droughty. There's a statewide drought still in effect, even though we've had some rain. We're going to need a significant, much more of that to get back up to what would be quote unquote normal. So that's where I think they wanted to start was how does one garden in drought conditions, and what you ought to do and what you should do, what you can't do, really, basically.
Right.
So I'm just going to throw that out. I don't know which one of you wants to go first, but
I'll just
Judy's
going to
go first. Okay, so let's lead us through what we need to know about being in a drought, but yet still keeping our garden growing.
Well, and the drought is actually a state pronounced that we are in drought conditions, and that's based on the amount of snowpack we have, how fast that snowpack started melting, and how much rain we had during the winter season. So it's a real thing, and even though we get a little bit of rain once in a while, and we haven't gotten much of that, but even if we do get a little bit of rain, we're probably still in a drought condition. So it's important that all of us who are out there, when we're planting veggie plants and veggie seeds earlier, know what to do to help those to grow, but to not waste water. So I'll just jump right in with some ideas. Using soaker hoses or a drip system, something that you can slowly and deeply water, is much more effective than using a hose and just pouring it on. A lot of that water runs off, and if you use a drip or a soaker hose, it soaks into the ground and benefits the plant more.
And it's really good for the plants because it doesn't get the leaves, the canopy wet, which attracts diseases and pests and that sort of thing. So
especially
it's a double win.
With tomatoes. Right?
Funny how she brought up the tomato. We're going to work this in a couple of times.
We can't pass that. Okay, and on your hoses and your faucets, make sure if you have a drip that you either catch that water or get the plumber out and fix that drip. It's amazing how much water you can collect by running that
Put a
soaker
bucket
hose.
under that,
yes.
and
you'll be
see
surprised.
The single little drip seems like it isn't a lot. By the next morning, you'll realize you've got gallons sometimes.
Yes, you can get gallons, or at least a gallon bucket filled up in an hour, hour and a half, depending on how much of a drip you've got. And then, so I've got one faucet, even though we had it fixed, it still has this little drip, and even a little drip, I can collect a gallon of water easily, and I pour that on some of the landscape plants. So I don't waste it, but it would be more efficient if I just got it in that soaker hose.
And a lot of times it's actually your fixings on your hose have gotten bent or whatever and are allowing some to leak out.
You don't buy new hoses every year? No. Some of mine are about 20 years old. So
first they're hoses when they get holes in them, then they're soaker hoses.
That's true. I mean, you could. That's a reuse, I suppose, in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
It's called a spritzer hose.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So and how long do you water?
That's right. So
yes.
And I think that's an important thing. You're going to tell us about this, but if I start laying out a soaker hose, people how do I know I've had it out there long enough? Do I leave it out longer than I usually do, or all of that?
All of that. So you can measure how much water you use during a period of time by sort of collecting that water or looking at your water meter and seeing how much you used. You can get one of the diagnostic tools that you stick into the wet or the dry ground and determine if it's moist enough. So there are ways that you can do it pretty readily. And Jeanette's going to comment on that more.
And it's a learning curve, but both drip systems and soaker hoses, you can actually calculate how much is going in there. But to me, the easiest, that hurts my brain. The easiest thing to do is water for a while, get a little spade, dig down, and see how deeply the water has penetrated. You want the water to get down where the roots are. And sometimes for a soaker hose or a drip system, this could be a couple of hours of flow. But I think that's the proof is in, looking at what's happening there.
Right. And how much is distributed through that soaker hose depends on how big that soaker hose is. Maybe at this point, if it's 20 years old, is it oozing water out at the same rate that it did when it was new, that kind of thing. So looking at the soil is a good idea. And Jeanette's comment that it should get down as far as the roots. If it's a new plant, those roots aren't 10 inches down yet. Well, probably not. Unless it was a really big new plant. And if you've planted seeds, and those are, not very far down when they start sprouting, but you need to give them more attention at that stage so they don't dry out because those roots are not very far down. Let's see what else. Water early in the morning so that it gets into the soil and is there for the roots.
Now, the adage was, not when the sun was out. So, but morning is better than night. Is that still pretty much?
Well, if you're talking about water conservation, probably morning or evening would be fine.
Okay.
But again, kind of coming back to that not wanting to get the plant wet and going into the nighttime cooler hours, then do it in the morning. It has all day for the leaf mass to dry.
I only bring it up because some people say, well, I have to get up. I have to go to work. I don't have time to tend to my watering. So night works better for me before I, that's okay, but not maybe the best.
You always do what you can do, right? And if your plants need water, then do it then. But if you had the possibility of doing in the morning, I think it would be better then.
In which case you might want to consider a little timer that you can put between the faucet and the hose and set it to come on at 5 a.m. and run for however long. And maybe that's better than not doing anything in the morning. Another thing, a big difference this year because we had a couple of weeks when the nights were warmer than what we normally have. And amazing amount of difference, I think, in my garden as to how much plants grew. They were just crazy. And, I think about, we always say, well, we're in a moderate climate, be prepared. It's, the nights are cool. That was a great demonstration of how true that really is. So watering at night during that time was not a big deal, or right before night, because there was so much warmth that the plants dried off.
Right. Okay. Now let's talk about mulching and some things like that. Holding the water in is important too, because
quite a bit of water is going to evaporate from the surface of the soil. And so using an organic mulch, we're talking about bark, chips, sawdust, compost that's, pretty well deteriorated, is a great way to hold moisture in. It also does some other things. If it's organic and it breaks down, it can feed the plants. It can deter weeds. So again, you get a lot out of that.
Yeah, and if you're buying a mulch or a bark or something, read what's in there, because there are some that are barely organic, and there are some that are very organic. I mean, they grind up all kinds of things and sell it and call it mulch.
Surprise!
I was kind of and what are your thoughts about this? So some people are reluctant to put like some barks and things on because they worry about it changing kind of acidity or the addition or subtraction, if you will, of what might happen to your soil. So
I am one of those people.
Yeah.
I love blueberries. Blueberries like an acidic soil. Compost that's made of yard waste or has animal manures is very alkaline in nature. Don't want to put that on your blueberries. You really want sawdust or bark chips or something like that. In addition, it's organic material, and when bacteria and fungi break that down, they actually consume a little bit of nitrogen off the surface area of the soil. So you might have to provide your plants a little bit more fertilizer than you would if you didn't have an organic mulch on your crop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's key to know. I mean, even with what you're using as a mulch, what you're growing there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, there are some mulches that actually, they're colored mulches, for aesthetics. Well, I'm not real crazy about the idea of putting a colored mulch on my veggies. I mean, it might look pretty out there in my garden, but so again, read what's in that mulch.
what do they use to color it with? That's what I always want to be.
That's
would
right.
Be
What do
reluctant
they
to put on
use?
there, right? Yeah. Okay. I think that's a
Kind of depends on the color, probably.
That's a fair question. That's right. But it's still good to find the appropriate thing to put on there because it can be used to help conserve water in the long run.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
What else?
Let's get into landscaping.
Yeah,
and
so it's
watering a bit.
longer term things. So what Judy has been talking about has largely been in your annual garden where you're able to kind of change things. Look at just out in your landscape in general. Do you have a lawn? Try to minimize the amount of lawn you have. It's a huge sink for water if you want to keep it green. If you are willing to let it go dormant over the summertime, let it go brown, it will come back to life in the fall.
And that's the big misnomer. Everybody says, my lawn died. It didn't die, did it? It went to
Probably
sleep.
not.
It went to sleep.
If it died, there's other things that happen besides go brown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. And it can totally break down. But you do have to give it a little care. A deep watering once a month on a lawn will keep it alive. It'll keep the roots alive.
Yeah.
The above ground will look brown, though.
Right. You just need to keep the roots a couple inches down in the ground alive, and that will do it.
And if you're like me and you're tired of mowing your lawn by about the middle of the season, it's a bonus because you know what? Only issue I have are the doggone dandelions or whatever still manage to come up through there, so I have to mow those down. But anyway, it's amazing though in the middle of summer how much water it really does take to keep it green. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Absolutely is a lot. And as you said, it increases how much stuff you have to do.
Right.
And walking behind my lawnmower is good exercise, but by the middle of the summer, I think most people are getting a tad bit tired.
It does. Jeanette, you just said if you do water, you should do deep, infrequent watering.
Yes, we want to, again, get down into the soil, encourage the plant's roots to get deeper in the soil because they'll be more resistant to drought then. So definitely infrequent but deep. A couple other things to be thinking about is older plants, established trees, probably don't need watering very often. But, you know, they don't need as much as something you've just planted. Baby those things you just planted, get them to get their roots deep in the ground and go from there. Also, think if you're actually selecting plants, native plants, plants that are known to be drought resistant.
They can handle it around here, right? The fancy not natives, you got to baby them along.
And it's not just for water.
Right, it's for a lot of things.
For water,
a lot of things,
so
right.
have thoughts about that as well.
And if you're buying new plants, group them by their water needs so that you're not having to water multiple areas for a large area for one plant in there. So if they don't need much water, put those together. And if they do, put those together.
And as a last note, the Extension Office has all sorts of info on all of this sort of thing, right?
They do.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to be putting together more information and educational seminars, all kinds of things, and reaching out to the community, providing information to the community on how they can effectively reduce their water consumption and still have a lot of the things that they enjoy having.
All right, we're going to take a break. We want to come back. We're going to talk about harvesting fruits, veggies, flowers, all the things perhaps if you're getting ready for the fair you might need to be aware of. Imagine that. Yes, we get into that. I see how you work that in just 3 weeks out from the fair, right? We're back with more with Jeanette Stair-Green and Judy English, my Master Gardener friends from Clallam County's Extension Office. We'll talk some more with them right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Hi, I'm Morgan Grawl-Worthington. I'm a local educator and the head coach for the Port Angeles High School fast pitch softball team. I've known Randy Johnson since the age of 10 when he coached my Little League team. Randy has always been a big supporter of the youth in our community through his leadership in 4-H, the YMCA, and juvenile services. Just as he has supported our kids, I am proud to support Randy for re-election as Clallam County Commissioner, District 2.
Paid for by the committee to elect Randy Johnson for County Commissioner.
Dr. Sam Skovgard here, General Surgeon at Olympic Medical Center. If you've noticed a bulge beneath your skin, on your abdomen or groin, it could be a hernia. And if it's causing you pain, it's time to talk to your doctor. If your hernia requires surgery, your general surgery team at OMC is here to help. Talk to your primary care provider if you think you may need treatment for a hernia. Let's keep you healthy and hernia-free together. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/hernia.
Building a future, sharing a dream, working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, one more segment here with my very fun guests, Jeanette Stair-Green. I'm using that word because in a moment we're going to talk about something fun. Jeanette Stair-Green is here, Judy English, Master Gardeners here in Clallam County, and we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about harvesting as we get closer, not only to the fall harvest time, but it's fair harvest time. So there's probably some people getting ready to perhaps get some things into the fair.
They should be.
Or should be getting ready for it.
Exactly.
I think it's kind of curious, though, in a little ways, because a lot of these things, well, it's not quite harvest season yet for certain things.
Right.
The fair comes along. I mean, you're close, but you might normally be growing some things a little bit longer into the season. So anyway, that said, let's talk about when and where and how and so that you get the best of whatever you're looking for, whether it's what it looks like or tastes like or whatever.
Exactly. And possibly if you're taking stuff to the fair, you're going to have different standards than for yourself.
Right.
Anyway, first let's talk about what you're doing in your garden, and chime in, Judy, because you might be telling us about when to harvest your tomatoes and that kind of thing. You know, a lot of times we equate size and color with, it must be ready to harvest. And that isn't always the best indicator for both fruits and vegetables. A lot of times they can do color changes early in the season and not really be ripe, or they can be big and then they're tough and you don't want them anymore. So my first kind of just suggestion to the gardeners out there is to know what they're growing and what their goals are. For fruits, one of the things you have to think about is some fruits will ripen off the vine, off the tree, and others will not. There are terms called climacteric and non-climacteric. And so if you would harvest something like a strawberry before it's ripe, it will never get riper. Okay. So harvest those things at their peak ripeness, and those tend to be the berries and cherries, kind of the softer fruit. On the other hand, apples, pears, plums, they can be harvested early and they will ripen later. So with those, you tend to look at, has it reached a usable size? That sort of thing. With vegetables, we have a whole nother constellation of things to look at, because that's where you start getting into some vegetables left on for too long will become very tough and not palatable. So, you know, you think, I just want to get it the biggest and the best to take to the county fair that I can. And you will maybe not be serving your best or your family's best purposes.
So that just made me think, at the county fair, do they cut into that bean that's great big but tough? Or do they just do it on looking at it? That's a big difference from what you want on your dining room table.
And that is a really wonderful distinction, because at the county fair, it's all looks.
Right. Nobody's going to bite into it necessarily and taste it. So really, if you want it to look nice, that's what you're going for.
Yeah, you're going to be going for something
that thing
else.
could be awful tasting.
Could be impossible to bite into it.
But if it looks good, right?
Yes. So again, you need to know the vegetable that you're talking about. And so, like, beans, this is like, to me, a classic, or peas, where you get the pod and there are these little seeds, the peas or the beans inside the pod, and as they start to grow and they get all filled out, you're like, and let me just go a little longer and a little longer, and all of a sudden those seeds start turning hard because they want to become seeds planted for next year. And
Yep.
so really keeping an eye out on what stage it might be in is important.
Yes, definitely. So another, in addition to green beans, red beets or golden beets, any kind of beets, if you leave them in too long, they will form a really thick skin. So you kind of lose the usefulness of them. And pears, as far as fruits, pears
It's
actually
quite different from most.
Yes. And between pears and apples, I think you can leave them on the tree longer to ripen than what you can pears. Pears tend to start to turn dark around the core if you leave them on too long. So if you have a pear tree, pick those pears early before they're really ripe on the outside so that they can ripen properly.
Exactly. Full size, but not ripe, because it will rot otherwise.
Yeah, right.
Some other odd vegetables when you start thinking about, corn, you really have to look at it. When the silks on the end of the card start drying up is a good indicator, but go ahead and pull down just the top of it to see if the kernels have filled out, because there's nothing worse than having this beautiful ear of corn that isn't so beautiful when you open it up and you had a lot of kernels that haven't filled out and aren't really edible at that point.
Tomatoes, yes, you can tell something by the color and the size, but you also have to very gently feel them and see if they kind of feel like they're beginning, and I hesitate to use the word soft because a lot of people think they're supposed to be like a little sponge ball or something. There should be a little give to the skin, is how I think of it, so that they're ripening inside as well as really a bright color on the outside. But leaving them on too long,
yeah, there's at some point with tomatoes
line.
and like with the berries and with fruit, there's a diminishing return because it's the balance between the sugar, which increases as it reaches its maturity. The sugars increase, but then you lose that tart and acidity, and those are kind of nice as part of the flavor. So I think the bottom line with both fruits and vegetables is knowing what you're dealing with and picking it at its peak.
What about flowers?
Yes, let's get to flowers.
Well, in picking flowers, in general, you want to pick flowers that are only part ways open.
Right.
Because quickly, after you cut them off and put them in water, and if it's warm water, they're going to open up very quickly. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. They say cut dahlias, zinnias, marigolds, and chrysanthemums fully open, because they will never totally open on their own. And I can attest to that. I just cut some zinnias the other day, and
they didn't open up.
No. They did not open up.
Good to know.
Yes.
All right. There's also some times of day to harvest, perhaps, that are better than others.
And in general, cooler temperatures are better. The flowers aren't as stressed, so in the morning it's a great time to pick them. They say that fruits and vegetables overnight develop more sugar in them, and therefore picking them in the morning is good. It's also good. Berries are just so fragile when things are cool. It works better that way. So harvesting in the morning in general is better. When you harvest for a lot of soft fruits and stuff, don't pile them up too high in your container. Be sure to wash your hands if you're dealing with edibles and use clean containers and get those in the house as soon as possible. As the sun gets up and those things are sitting out, flowers will wilt, as will fruit.
All right, now you're going to harvest this stuff, maybe you're going to put it in the fair. So let's get to just a little bit of fair stuff before we run out of time.
Yes.
So, all right.
Oh, this is amazing. I am so excited about the fair coming up, and that this is such a great opportunity for gardeners to demonstrate their largesse, their abilities in the garden.
And folks need to know you don't have to be in a garden club or anything to enter the fair.
You just
an
do
individual, just live in Clallam County, basically. And that's
exactly. And all comers, no matter what fruit or vegetable you're growing, you can take it to the fair. The most important thing for you to realize, well, there's two very important things to realize. Number one, you have to get it to the appropriate place at the fairground before the judging occurs.
Right.
And so I'm gonna tell you that for fruits and vegetables, you can bring it in on the August 13th. That's a Tuesday afternoon between 12 and 8 p.m. or in the morning the following day, Wednesday, August 14th, 8 to 11:30. for flowers, and those go to the ag barn. Flowers go to a different barn, and it's only that morning, August 14th, Wednesday, from 8 to 11:30. So, number one, get it to the right place at the right time. You'll have to fill out a form, and you have to do it very completely, because if it's not filled out correctly, will be disqualified.
Yep, that's right.
The other thing is that there are rules that you can find online about what your fruits, vegetables, flowers should present like. You know, do you need to wash it? Do you remove the little root hairs that are on the carrots or on the beets? Do you cut off the greenery? Read those instructions.
Yeah, because you might be surprised what they want you to have on that, right?
And it would be such a sad thing to do what you normally do
lopped
for the
off
kitchen
and think that, and they
get
go,
there and sorry, you can't submit that.
Yeah.
And they will disqualify. Like, boom, you are out. You might have the most beautiful whatever, but you are out. And one of those considerations, one of those characteristics is how many you bring. So like apples, 3, cherries, 5, zucchini, 1 or 2, okra, I saw okra, 3. So know what they're asking you to bring, because you don't want to go to all this trouble and be disqualified.
Right. How interesting.
Now, before we run out of time, you got to get to the fun plan, because this is something that apparently has been available for a long time with a money prize. But
a money prize.
Perhaps somebody out there has nothing that they think's award-winning growing, but maybe they've got
very interesting.
So there we go.
Yes, they have a fun plant category, and it is done at the agricultural barn, and fun is F-U-N, like you're going to have a lot of fun with this. And the description is, this category is to compensate for some other Mother Nature's most interesting developments. So we're thinking kind of out of the ordinary, unusual.
You've acquired something, it grew weirdly, did some strange thing, perhaps. Like you wouldn't want to put that carrot as a normal
that
carrot
one that
entry.
like really looks
But
like the profile
that
of
thing-
Richard Nixon.
But boy, it's fun.
Yes, it's fun. It's fun.
Now, this
And
is like a People's Choice Award.
It
we
is.
understand. People are going to vote on
yes,
this. Right?
yes. So think of what would appeal to your fellow man or woman out there, and it's not inconsequential. First place gets $150.
I am just amazed.
I didn't even
Truly
know this
amazed.
was a
I didn't
thing, but
either.
now I'm going to have to watch out
And now
for it, so.
it's a cash prize.
Right,
Whoa.
right.
Whoa, yeah. Put them to the test there. Let's see. And those you have to get to the Ag Barn before 10 a.m. on the Wednesday, which is August 13th.
Right before the fair gets going. Okay.
Right.
Now, you guys are going to be at the fair. That's one of the events coming up, right? Well, not just
Yes.
you guys, but
Yeah.
folks from the
Yeah.
Master Gardeners
Master
are going to be
Gardeners,
out there all day, Thursday, Friday,
the
whole time. The whole time,
Yeah.
huh?
Yes.
Right? Thursday,
And
Friday,
they've
Saturday,
been
Sunday.
doing judging on some of the.
Yeah, Master Gardeners are going to help with judging
Excellent.
this year. Yay.
Excellent. And got Green Thumb presentations coming up August 8th at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, creating a garden of natural dyes. We talked about coloring. This is the way you can get to grow your own coloring, right?
Interesting.
All right. Yeah, it's very interesting. And then on August 22nd, vertical gardening. This was one I think that Bob's done before, and it was pretty
It is.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's
how to
very
grow,
interesting. Yeah.
up.
Yes.
It's like
Instead
a
of
skyscraper.
Yeah,
sort
so
of
if you have
thing,
small
right?
gardens, you want to grow up. Takes less room.
Right. Okay. And Digging Deeper's coming up on this Saturday. Making the most of your floral garden, speaking of all those flowers.
Sounds like
and
a lot of
things.
fun.
Yeah. And that's down at the Woodcock Demonstration Garden as well. That starts at 10:30 in the morning. And don't forget your plant clinics. You've moved them over to Swain's, right?
Swain's and at the Swim Farmers Market.
And at the Farmers Market. So alternating Fridays, Swain's the 9th and the 23rd.
Yep.
And Swim Farmers Market every Saturday. Then,
As
coming
long
up.
as the market's going
Yep.
on, which
Okay.
is for another 2 months at least.
Exactly. All right. So great to have you guys in
It's
today.
nice
We could have
to
gone
be
for about
here.
3 more
Thank
hours,
you.
but we got to get you both back in here again down the
Okay.
road quite soon. All right.
You talked us into
Yeah,
it.
I figured. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk about the Music on the Straight series when we return right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
I'm speaking with PUD Commissioner Phyllis Bernard. Phyllis, what is the essential role of the PUD here in Clallam County?
Thank you for that question. The Public Utility District of Clallam County, the PUD, makes sure that electric power and clean water created with public resources will always be there for you and your family, now and in the future. I serve on the commission to help make sure that happens.
Paid for by the committee to elect Phyllis Bernard.
July is the first full month of summer. And don't you just love the longer days and warmer weather? This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and if you've been thinking about a new truck to pull your trailer or tow your boat, we have some great choices for you. Choose from the Tundra, Tacoma, Titan, Frontier, Ram, or the Honda Ridgeline. And with over 400 new and used vehicles to choose from and the Wilder Advantage, well, why would you go anywhere else? So stop by and check us out at 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, old-fashioned customer service never goes out of style. We've been closing real estate transactions in Clallam County for 40 years and have earned the repeat business of our customers. We treat people with respect, do what we say, put the security of our customers' funds and information as priority number one, and always provide service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title. See why we've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
All right, back with a few minutes here on the program in this segment to talk about Music on the Straight, which is coming up. In fact, it opens up this Thursday at Field Hall in Port Angeles, and we have the guy that's kind of put this thing all together from way back when, James Garlick, who's originally from Port Angeles, and this is always a great excuse for you to get back to town and do some fun things, I know, and including coming here on the radio. So it's great to have you in the studio.
It's great to be here, Todd. Thank you so much.
So let's first of all, let's talk about going back all the years that you've done this. This is what, fifth year now, is that right?
This is the sixth full
year.
season. We had to cancel one due to COVID,
Yeah,
so we
right.
got started in 2018.
Okay, so what was your idea to get this all started way back?
You know, it really started when we were invited. My co-director Richard O'Neill and I were invited to come back to the Port Angeles Symphony in 2016 and perform a concerto, a solo with the symphony. And that was really the first time that either of us had come back to the area to perform in recent years. My co-director, Richard O'Neill, was a violist, and he grew up in Sequim. A violinist, grew up in Port Angeles, and we knew each other as kids. We had a lot of the same teachers, like Phil and Deborah Morgan Ellis. We were played in the Port Angeles Symphony, and we were part of this really incredible and supportive community. So we had that invitation. We performed together, and we had such an incredible response from the audience and friends and family that we said, hey, let's just try an idea to get this project started. We'll see what happens. And the support and the response from the community has just been beyond what we ever expected. And it's grown beautifully and very organically in the years since.
Yeah, and now you have a great facility to do this in. You are actually kind of the first, if you will, regularly ticketed almost event that happened at way back when Field Hall first opened a couple of years ago.
Yes. We're so honored to be a part of the opening of Field Arts and Events Hall and that beautiful facility on the waterfront. Our namesake, Music on the Straight, is also connected to the water very much, and also our goal is across the water to even our friends in Canada that we're on this body of water that connects us, and they can get to easily. So we're really grateful and excited to have our second year performing at Field Arts and Events Hall. We're also doing a couple of concerts at Meyer Hall at Peninsula College as well.
So, and let's get into that in just a minute, but I should point out that it's been helpful. I mean, you have left this area and gone on to some great professional musical stuff, but that's what's made this happen. Your connections, you're able to bring some world-class musicians along with you, which we will talk about in just a moment, but to do this thing, it's an opportunity, I think, for folks here to hear people they normally wouldn't get a chance to.
It's just such a privilege, and it's really exciting for Richard and I to yes, connect to some of our friends who we're fortunate are some of the great performers across the world. But it's also for us, it's a chance to introduce them to this really special part of the world that is incredibly unique, incredibly supportive, gorgeous, and everybody wants to keep on coming back. So all of our musicians this year, except for 3, are returning musicians because people want to come again and again.
Okay, so let's talk about that. This is a festival. We should also point out you got a little press in Seattle too. You've kind of grown this thing, so the word's getting out. I think that even beyond the North Olympic Peninsula for folks to come out and check this out.
Yeah.
Which, congrats! I think that it's getting a little bit of traction out there. So this is a festival. It opens up on Thursday. So tell us about you kind of bookend 2 kind of major shows more or less.
Yes,
Best way to put it.
We begin and end at Field Arts and Events Hall for our opening night on August 1st, this Thursday, featuring the incredible, unique, and one-of-a-kind pianist, Jeremy Denk. He's coming for the 5th time to Music on the Strait, which is remarkable.
I say he just keeps coming on back, doesn't he?
He does, and I mean, really, he's one of the most incredible musical minds on the planet, and I'm fortunate to call him a friend. But he keeps coming back to this place again and again because he recognizes how special it is. So opening night, August 1st with Jeremy Denk. Then we have 2 shows that are basically sold out at Meyer Hall at Peninsula College, a wonderful but tiny facility. And that'll be on August 3rd and August 9th. And then we return for our final concert on August 10th back at Field Hall, featuring another one of the greatest pianists in the world, Joyce Yang. She's new to Music on the Strait. She was silver medalist at the Van Cliburn piano competition, which is the very top in the entire world when she was only 18, I think. But more importantly, she's one of the great collaborators and wonderful people that everybody loves to work with. And we're also thrilled to feature our composer in residence, Paul Wienko, member of the world famous Kronos Quartet, composing a piece, a very beautiful sort of atmospheric piece.
Just for you guys, for this event, basically?
Well, we have done that. This is not the first performance for this particular piece, although we have had a history of commissioning a lot of pieces.
That's why I brought that up, because I know you've done this in the past.
And we want to. So. He's on our list, so we're going to get a piece from him soon.
Okay, so let's talk about Thursday night, the opening night with Jeremy Denk. What's on the bill? Tell us what you guys are going to be performing.
We'll be performing music of Beethoven and American composer Charles Ives. So Beethoven, everybody knows his name. We're opening with the Ghost Piano Trio, it's called. I mean, it has this sort of ghostly melody in the middle. It's a wonderful piece for violin, cello, and piano. And it's a rock star cast to open our season. Stefan Yakif, one of the best concert violinists in the world, and a good friend of mine, is playing for that. Efe Baltacıgil, the Turkish principal cellist of the Seattle Symphony, is returning to Music on the Strait. He'll be playing next to Jeremy Denk. That'll be the opener.
Okay.
Next, we move on to Charles Ives, his Concord Sonata. Charles Ives was an incredible American composer of the early 20th century. He was an insurance salesman by day, and by night wrote some of the most forward-looking music ever written. And not even everybody knew what he was up to. But Jeremy's, this is one of his specialties. It's based on the transcendentalist movement of American kind of philosophy. So there's a movement based on Ralph Waldo Emerson, one on Nathaniel Hawthorne, one on the Alcotts, and it'll be a really magnificent and special experience that only really Jeremy Denk can deliver.
Okay.
And then we close with the Beethoven's 4th Piano Concerto. We've never done a piano concerto before. Normally a concerto means you've got a big full orchestra and a soloist in the front. We're a chamber music ensemble, so we are doing a very unique arrangement of this concerto for string quintet. So we'll have 5 string players plus a piano on stage. And it's going to be a really unique experience of hearing this incredible piece by Beethoven, one of his best piano concertos, the fourth.
So the good news in this is tickets are still available.
There are.
Right?
Yes.
So Thursday night, you want to catch this out. If you mentioned the Small Meyer Hall stuff is not available.
Not
but
really.
Here's your chance to get in at least. So.
Please do, yes. And what I tell people is, whether you think you're a fan of classical music or not, I mean, Todd, you're a musician. I know you're a great keyboardist yourself. And what I like to say is it's not about, what's amazing is to see people doing their thing, connecting on stage and being in their element. And that is magical and palpable no matter what tradition you think is what your favorite genre is. So I'm telling people, please come check this out. And they also don't always know children and families are welcome. Mm-hmm. We're offering $5 tickets for children with an adult, $10 for a student, 25 or under. So please come experience this music. Try to see that electricity yourself and decide if you want to come back for more.
Absorb it, and it's great. And I can just tell you, just what you described there, how you're laying this out, especially that last piece, you don't get to see that configuration.
No.
Normally, if anything else, it's kind of a wild way to experience a piece of classical music, much usually done with a big orchestra, as you pointed out. Ticket through Field Hall, is that how you should get tickets?
You can get it through Field Hall for those shows or at our website at musiconthestraight.com.
Musiconthestraight.com. But one last bit before we let James go is that he has an opportunity for you to go for free. Tell us about it.
Oh, yes. Well, we would love to give away some tickets to anyone who's listening today. We'd love to give away 10 pairs of tickets to either concert at Field Hall, your choice, August 1st or August 10th. So if you, Todd, you'll let us know how
just
people
give us a call, regular number 360-457-1450, and Doreen will grab the 10 calls as they come in.
Great.
And just say, hey, I want to go to either the opening night or closing or both, right? Your choice. But tell her what your preference is, but we got to make sure that you're going to go. So don't just call and then not come, because we want you to experience it. So great, James. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming in. Usually we're talking on the phone about this time of year. So
yes, I'm glad to be here in person.
I'm so glad you're in town and you're here in person.
Oh, if I have one extra second, I just would love to say another free way to experience Music on the Straight. Access is important. We are live streaming our concerts online at musiconthestraight.com and on Facebook, all 4 of them for free. So please check them out. If you're not able to travel at night or you have a young family and you don't want to go out, please come and experience music from your home.
Thanks for putting this together. I mean, this has been great now, 6 years into it. I think it's going to stick. I think you got it going.
I hope so.
James Garlick there, who's helped one of the principals in putting together Music on the Straight, which opens Thursday night at Field Hall. And again, we're giving away some tickets. So if you want to give us a call here this afternoon at 457-1450 and let us know you want to go. We got a pair of tickets for either the opening or the closing, either the 1st or the 10th. If you want to go, just let us know. And we're going to take a break and wrap things up on our show right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hello, I'm Graham Ralston, independent candidate for Congress in Washington's 6th District. I spent 7 years in Washington, D.C. as a senior federal executive. I know what does and doesn't work. I'm a 5th-generation resident of Port Angeles. My top priorities are getting Congress to work, fighting inflation, working on housing, and boosting the local economy. Visit voteralston.com to learn more.
Paid for by Ralston for Congress.
Hi everyone, it's Leslie Robertson from the Port Angeles Chamber, and I want to tell you about a great opportunity to support our local area. Would you like to meet people from all over the world? Do you like the chance to brag about this beautiful place we live? The Port Angeles Visitor Center is looking for volunteers to help people seeking advice, information, and recommendations when they come to visit our delightful town. Visitor Center shifts are short, the schedule is easy, and very flexible. Whether you want a regular day or you'd like to fill in as needed, we will make it work for you. Knowledge about the area is a plus, but don't worry, we'll train you. It's a great chance to meet new people, make new friends, and get to know the great group of volunteers we already have working at the Visitor Center. You'll be glad you did. If you're interested, email info@portangeles.org or call the Visitor Center at 360-452-2363. Or you can find more information on our website, portangeles.org.
Welcome back to the program. It's not quite football season, but don't tell that to fans of virtual reality. For years, technology has put the game in the palm of our hands, and now a new way to play college football, school against school, thanks to some crafty game developers. ABC's Rob Hawley takes us inside the making of College Football 25 and the intricate work it took to get every detail just right.
For more than a decade, people have been waiting for a video game. And the perfect example of how much people wanted this game,
And he's got the first down.
comes from ESPN reporter Michael Rothstein.
Him being in an Auburn, Alabama books $1 million.
The him is Daryl Holt, an executive at video game giant EA Sports back in 2019.
He was wearing EA gear, and the woman in Auburn, Alabama at the checkout counter was like, "When's college football coming back?" And she wasn't meaning the actual sport; she was meaning the video game.
EA Sports. And for the first time in 11 years,
Finally, it is here.
college football fans have their own game again. EA Sports College Football 25. But why has this game been gone for so long?
The game went away very simply, not because of EA wanting it to go away. EA did not want this game to go away. But if you remember, Ed O'Bannon sued the NCAA.
O'Bannon was a college basketball player and sued after a character in a college basketball video game looked and played a lot like him.
They had the same number, played for UCLA, skills were the same.
That was true for a lot of players in college basketball and football. And at the time, there was just no way for college players to be compensated for using their name, image, or likeness in something like a video game. So EA stopped making the games altogether. But fast forward to the summer of 2021.
This case is significant in that it's a sign that the dam has broken a little bit, at least legally, when it comes to compensation to college athletes.
That's ABC's Devin Dwyer, right after the Supreme Court's decision in the case of NCAA versus Alston, opening the door to those athletes making money off their name, image, or likeness, and allowing this year's game to do something that's never been done before. Include real players.
EA started to figure out, okay, well, how are you going to do this? How are they going to put this together? What type of program are they going to offer? They eventually landed on $600 and a copy of the game if you are used in the game.
Thousands of college football players signing up. And just like the Madden football video game, the players getting ratings. Some, like Colorado State's Torrey Horton, thrilled.
It's just something that we dreamed about.
Others, like Penn State's Nick Dawkins, not quite as happy.
I challenge all the developers of EA Sports to a race.
The players are only one part of it, though. EA went into this with a mission.
Their whole motto is that every team is somebody's favorite team.
So for well over 100 different schools, EA had to get everything right.
They had to build every stadium, and they were very big on not just having generic stadiums.
Each stadium took at least a week to build in the game. Also in the game, some pros from ESPN.
Finally, I can tell you about what's been going on.
That's from a video posted by ESPN broadcaster Chris Fowler about the hours of recording needed to put his voice into the game as one of the guys doing play-by-play.
Everything you could possibly see in a football game, even the mundane plays, I've said into that microphone many, many different ways. Bunch of stuff you'd never see in a real game. I've described. You want to punt on second down?
Not sure I've seen this before. It's second down, and out comes the punt team.
Try a 71-yard field goal. That's in the game, too.
Get the record book. This would have to be the longest ever if he can somehow make it.
His partner, Kirk Herbstreit, talking on the Pat McAfee Show on ESPN.
For me, the college game was always very different because of the traditions of the sport, the uniforms, the marching bands, the stadiums, just all of it.
That also catching the eye of IGN's Taylor Lyles.
Like Clemson having their players run down the hill in Death Valley right before kickoff, or the Florida State, audience doing a tomahawk chop. What I remember, seeing that EA was going to these colleges and, they were assessing like the fields and trying to replicate and accurately display that. And then they also had, all of the traditions like the whiteout game at Penn State.
After figuring all that out, you still need to build a game. But EA has Madden, so they could just kind of clone that, right?
Absolutely not. It is so much more than a Madden clone, I have to say.
And when it comes to actually playing the game, Taylor says,
I found that it definitely felt faster.
And that's what these players live for.
And people have been playing in droves. EA offered early access to College Football 25, and at $100 each, 2.2 million people signed up.
And finally,
hi, I'm Kevin Vanderweg, your state senator and now a candidate for state lands commissioner. As a 25-year firefighter and chair of the Senate Natural Resources Committee, I know how destructive wildfires and wildfire smoke are to rural communities. I'm ready to lead the fight for better prevention and faster, more effective responses. We can't let wildfire get further out of control. I'd be honored to earn your vote.
Paid for by Kevin Vanderweg for State Lands Commissioner, Democrat.
You don't have to travel to receive quality-efficient CPAP and BiPAP fittings, setups, and follow-up visits. At Jim's Pharmacy, our licensed practical nurse Simone is dedicated to making sure your days are active and your nights are worry-free, and will call you regarding your resupply orders. We also work with ResMed AirSense and AirCurve devices and carry a full range of products from nebulizers to oxygen concentrators. Call us at 457-3462. Jim's, your locally run independent pharmacy since 1983.
This is Alicia. I'm the admin at Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative, the worker-owned and operated home care agency in Clallam County. Our service structure empowers our caregivers, and empowered caregivers make the very best caregivers. Let us answer questions on your in-home care for your loved one. Give us a call today, 360-504-38